Chapter 1 Shuzi of the Luo Family. You are listening at FameTV.info. Chapter 1 Luo Family Bastard Yuanping 3 years. The wind is cold and the snow is flying heavily. In Qinghua Mansion, in a small courtyard in the northwest corner, thick smoke billowed. Luo Qingzhou, wearing thin clothes, was squatting beside the brazier at the door, holding a moon-white girl /s bellyband embroidered with peonies in one hand, and fanning the dead wood in the brazier with a cattail fan. These dry firewood were all picked up from the snow, and the outside had already been soaked by rain and snow. After the flame has burned the moisture inside, the firewood will burn. Luo Qingzhou coughed a few times in the smoke, waved the cattail fan in his hand, and fanned the smoke that was flying over a bit, then sat down beside the brazier, roasting the girl /s bellyband in his hand, while looking at the fire in the brazier. Flame froze. 3 days ago. When I woke up, I traveled to this place. Dian Empire, Mo City. Qingguafu, the third son of the Luo family, the concubine. A frail scholar. In ancient times, the status of the concubine and the legitimate son were very different. If it is born to a woman without any status, it will be even more humble. And from the memory in this body, it is known that he is not even the concubine of the master of the Qinghua Mansion. 3 years ago. His mother took him to Qinghua Mansion and lived there. The owner of Qinghua Mansion, Luo Yannian, recognized his identity as a concubine, but did not recognize his mother /s identity. Until his mother died suddenly last year, he wasn't /t even listed as a concubine. In private, the servants in the mansion are discussing his life experience. The child brought by a woman from the country, I don't /t know if it is the master /s seed. It looks a bit like the master. The master is kind. According to me, they should be driven away as liars. Memories are full of bad pictures. Luo Qingzhou sighed, and turned over the girl /s bellyband in his hand. What kind of is the son of the Guofu? No one in the Qinghua Mansion regards him as the son of the Luo family. Even those maids and servants are dressed better than him, and they even burn with charcoal when it /s cold in winter. And he. In this snowy cold winter, wearing a thin coarse cloth gown, burning damp wood, sitting in this dilapidated small courtyard, no one cares about it. Poor, lamentable. Although it came from time travel, the body memory is all fused together, and the other party /s emotions empathize with him. Aggrieved, depressed, hesitant, angry, and hatred. Yes, and hate. His mother was only in her 30s, and she was originally very healthy, but she suddenly fell ill and died of a serious illness last year without warning. It took only 2 days from illness to death. Obviously there is something else hidden. And he lost his soul inexplicably 3 days ago, and his body is now occupied by him. There are definitely oddities. Among the members of the big family, he knows that for various interests, they intrigue, and even kill people. I just didn't /t expect to encounter this kind of thing just after time traveling. Wanting to quietly be a rich man who doesn't /t care about worldly affairs, concentrates on eating, drinking and having fun, and lies flat to death is obviously not going to work. But now he is alone, with no backing, no strength. How can he break the situation? Young master. I have good news for you. Following a clear voice like an oriole bird, a thin maidservant in emerald green clothes ran into the small courtyard with a blizzard all over her body. Her delicate and immature face was full of excitement. Xiaodai, his only maid. Because of doing something wrong, she was almost sunk by Mrs. Wang and was saved by his mother. Since then, she has become the maidservant of their mother and son, and is loyal to them. But also because of their relationship, they are often bullied by other maids and servants in the mansion, and they often have bruises on their bodies. What good news? Luo Qingzhou asked while observing this weak and poor girl. For him, what good news can there be in Fuchu? At most, it's almost Chinese New Year, and the housekeeper will give him a few extra coins, or make a new suit of clothes for him. After all, we will be celebrating the New Year together at that time. Wearing these shabby clothes will not only lose the face of Qingguofu, but also make the lady look bad. As the hostess of the Qinghua mansion, Mrs. Wang is extremely taboo about outsiders discussing her personal virtues behind her back. What Xiao Dai brought was not these kinds of news, the little girl said excitedly. Young master, I just heard the master talking to the guests outside the living room, and the eldest lady is also there. The eldest lady mentioned you, it seems to be about your marriage. Young master, you have grown up this year. We getting married. Luo Qingzhou froze for a moment. Married. In this era, marriage is very early. And if he gets married, he will be able to share his own property, and even go out to live, owning his own house and various freedoms. However, the eldest lady would be so kind to let him get married, and then smoothly share the property of the Luo family. Although he is a son, it is impossible for him to inherit too much property, and it has nothing to do with the title, but after all, he is the son of the Luo family. However, judging from the experience of the past 3 years in memory, there may be another article on this matter. Even if the eldest lady is generous to those servant girls, she will definitely not be generous to him. Young master, when you get married, we will move out. Xiao Dai can be used by 3 people by herself. I promise to take good care of the son and wife. I don't know which girl the young master is going to marry. As the young master, it must be the young lady of which family. She must be very beautiful. Xiao Dai has already begun to fantasize about a better life in the future with great anticipation. At this moment, the voice of the housekeeper Wang suddenly came from outside the door. Is the third son there? The master and wife are calling you to go over. Luo Qingzhou suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. But he didn't dare to hesitate, stood up, handed the girl s bellyband to Xiao Dai s hand, and then walked out of the courtyard. Xiao Dai opened her eyes wide and looked at the apron in her hand. She was stunned, her little face blushed suddenly. How could the son steal her bellyband? This is a girl s thing, she washed it and hung it in the room. Luo Qingzhou walked out of the courtyard. Standing outside the door was a slightly fat middle-aged man in a grey brocade robe. It was Wang Cheng, the second steward of Qinghua Mansion. It is said that she is a relative of Mrs. Wang s family. This steward Wang is different from others, no matter he is very polite to everyone, even he is a who has long been transparent and dispensable in the mansion. Third young master, let s go change your clothes first, and meet important guests later. Wang butler smiled all over his face, bowed his body slightly, and his attitude was respectful and impeccable. Butler Wang, which guest do you want to see? Luo Qingzhou bowed his head and followed behind, deliberately pretending to be humble and timid, and his tone was also cautious. He used to be like this. Wang's steward smiled and said, of course, when the third son is gone, he will know. Luo Qingzhou s eyes flickered, and he didn't ask any more questions. Newcomers and new books, please collect, recommend and support. End of this chapter. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.